Canon Sportive of Yaoundé. You're welcome to High Television, where you are definitely watching High Sport with Sonny Tanguni. And this evening, we are going to be dissecting a very pertinent issues that are circulating football, especially centered around our national team, and equally how the Cup of Cameroon is unfolding, and most importantly, the pre-selected list of our Magbuis. And yes, you wouldn't want to miss any interesting parts of this particular edition of today, as today of Wednesday, the 15th of May 2024, over here at High Television. We'll take on this break and we'll come back. We are going to be giving to you some very interesting players, teams, clubs that are making waves in terms of the football milieu. Welcome back, and you're watching High Sport over High Television every Wednesday 6 p.m. It's when the High Sport takes place. And yes, we are going straight away. If you are just joining us, you haven't missed any, as we are starting our Sports Flash slot where we give you a rundown of some various sporting related issues that have been happening across the national territory, especially central on sport. Where we are going to commence this particular slot with Andre Onana equally winning the save of the month, that is the month of April. Once again, congratulations to the golfer of Man United, despite the fact that they find themselves where they are. We want to really say congratulations to him, who has continued to be the number one in terms of the goalpost of Manchester United. And I'm sure as of now, the Arsenal fans out there are already trembling on their feet, as it's already no more winning. That inspiration or that aspiration that they were having in terms of winning, unfortunately, Man City remains as they stand tall in terms of their game against Tottenham yesterday. And we'll go straight away to look at the Cup of Cameroon. Remember that I told you that the Cup of Cameroon was starting, and yes, it started today, the 15th of May 2024, where they have been having interesting games, especially the games that took place in Douala today, where it was Sinodev that picked up a legend, who defeated her 3-0 at the Middle Farm Stadium over there in Limbe. And it was a bad day for talented equally, who qualified as a third best losers in terms of this particular Cup of Cameroon. They have been ousted at the 32 rounds by Canon Sportive of Yaoundé after a 5-0 victory for the boys from the center region. And equally, Cotton Sport and Epevest are equally on a penalty shootout at the moment, where the game on number 90 minutes ended up on a 1-1-0 all tie. And yes, we are going to the way to look at the fixtures of tomorrow, Thursday, the 16th of May 2024. Mind you that this particular 32 rounds will play from the 15th to the 19th of May 2024, where tomorrow, that is a fixture 2. Tomorrow, Tuesday, the 16th of May, is at the Municipal Stadium in Betwa. Leopard Sportive of Douala will clash against Krimi FC of Garoua at exactly 1:30. Meanwhile, 3:30, same stadium, Tonnerre Calabar of Yaoundé will face Marwa FC. And equally on Friday, the 17th of May 2024, at the Municipal Stadium in Betwa, it's going to be Panther of Finde, newly promoted side into the MTN Elite One Championship, will clash against Sporting FC of Marwa, and that game is going to be played at exactly 1:30. Meanwhile, 3:30, same stadium, Avion Academy will welcome Sahel of Marwa at exactly 3:30. Meanwhile, on Saturday, fixtures at their next Omi Sports Stadium in Yaoundé, 1:30, Column Sportive of Nja and Lobo against Edu Sports of the Lekki, and that game is going to be played at exactly 1:30. Meanwhile, 3:30, Union Sportive of Douala against Sable FC de Betty. This is one of the teams that are already showing green colors in terms of the West Regional League. Meanwhile, Dynamo of Douala will play against Polytech de Benka in terms of the 32nd rounds of the Cup of Cameroon at exactly 3:30 at the Annex Sport Stadium over there. Yaoundé 3:30. Unisport of Hunskam and Hemle FC, the Beko will lock horns. Meanwhile, it's going to be Victoria United against Gandore FC at exactly 3:30. That is it in terms of the fixtures for the 32nd rounds of the Cup of Cameroon. Today's fixtures have already begun, as I earlier told you, in terms of Sinodef from the Southwest representative, and equally Isosa have gone through the rounds of 16. And remember that we had a total of 5 representatives and 2 with the outset, and that is Legend and Talented after they were being defeated by their opponent this afternoon over there in Douala and equally in the Middle Farm Stadium. And away from that, let's talk about what transpired on Monday, the 13th of May 2024, over there in Tinga, the headquarters of Fecafoot over there in Yaoundé, where it was Mark Brace after not being present in terms of May 10 for the first technical meeting with Fecafoot. It was Mark Brace that made his presence very, very active in terms of Monday that just passed, where they had a 5-minute session there where there were some beautiful resolutions that actually came out of this particular Mark Brace meeting alongside the other technical staff that were appointed by the FA of the country. When we look at the resolutions in terms of this particular meeting that was held in Yaoundé over there with some appointed stakeholders, where we're talking about one of the resolutions was that Fecafoot has accepted the pre-selected list of players that was released on a Friday at exactly 3 p.m. in the conference by Mark Brace, and they have equally said that in that resolution it was said that they are going to do the necessary checks that they normally do to not to find any player who is not kind of like eligible to play this particular competition, and that if should in case there is going to be any changes, Mark Brace himself will be the one to stand at the forefront in doing all the changes without any interference from the FA. That is what that particular resolution stipulates, and it ends up by calling football stakeholders in the region to put their hands together as to protect the interests of the national team of Cameroon. And that was some of the resolutions that were taken in terms of that 5 minutes meeting with Mark Brace and equally his manager and some appointed technical appointed members in terms of the national team. Talk about Carlos Idris Kamini equally was present, David Paku, and a host of others. And let's go to the teams that have been shortlisted in terms of the CAF Championship, where and the various criteria that is needed for this team to participate in the upcoming African Championship that will be played in the months ahead, where we find Victoria United, Cotton Sport of Galwa in Colombia. These are some of the clubs that have been listed out by Fecafoot to keep to start preparing and getting the right licenses to be able to participate in the CAF Championship. And I should say some of these criteria are very, very tough, and it's tedious. So what happened to Bambutus last season would want it equally to happen to these clubs, and they have I think their time started around the 10th of May to be able to start processing the necessary documents, so that at the end it shouldn't be that it was the FA's fault, but rather that of the teams, as that they representatives. Remember that I told you that the Northwest was yet to begin done for the Northwest side, where they have 3 representatives already from the regional level to represent them, where it is Rainbow FC, Bank Bullet, and Insor United to represent the Northwest region in terms of the regional level to the Cup of Cameroon. And equally talking about the draws, in general, the Northwest Regional League, it will going to equally commence on the 20th of May 2024. And equally, they had their draws today to tell you that in any moment from now, the Northwest Regional League equally will be kickstarting. And mind you that as they started last year, very later, it looks like it is the same thing. That is because of some very controversial issues that are currently plaguing the Northwest Regional League. And away from that, let's look at what's transpiring in terms of the Littoral Regional League that is equally ongoing after the North, the West, the Southwest, and equally the South. Now it is a Littoral equally that is already on March day 2 of the regional league, where we are going to see them divided into 4 different pools with about 8 teams comprising of each pool, where Pool A finds Kalatik Football Academy with 6 points after 2 games played. Second position is AS Dibanda FC with 4 points. Pool B sees Real Academy New Bed with 4 points after 2 games played, followed by Puma Football Club. And for those who followed the national interpost and equally the just national interpost equally in Yaoundé, you've heard rather of a Puma Football Club. And equally the last person on this particular classification in Pool B is Sepang de Bassa with 0 points. Pool B sees Espace Foot Horizon with 4 points, followed by International Sporting FC 4 points, and the last person on the classification is FC Sanaga 0 points after 2 games played. Meanwhile, Pool D, it is Ozin Club de Douala with 6 points, followed by Hamlet de Mbotko, who is equally in terms of representing the Littoral region in terms of the Cup of Cameroon with 4 points. And that is what has been transpiring or ongoing in terms of the Littoral region. And mind you that they are already in March day 2, which means that in the days ahead, March day 3 is going to commence with no stress. And that is what we had in terms of a sport update to begin the opener for this particular High Sport edition on High Television. And we are going to take on this break, and when we come back, we are going to be dissecting talking about some very interesting issues. That's why we have gathered here today. Do not touch this, that as we will be back in a jiffy. Welcome back. You're still on High Sport over High Television, and you haven't missed that much, though we are from talking about the sports rundown. And today's program structure is going to look like, yes, we are opening the lines for calls and equally reactions either through text or normal messages on WhatsApp. So if you want to call and give in your own contributions, as you can find the number of your screen, just give us a call to lay in your reactions in any of the topic of discussions that we are going to be dissecting today with some very, very important panelists that we have this evening. We are going to commence today's session with the topic, the Lion's Den. Faker food means seemingly on a balanced scale, and that's going to be our first topic of discussion today. To you, do you think that they are already on a balanced scale, or there are still a lot of issues that are supposed to be handled for us to actually term it a balanced scale? But like I earlier said, Faker food means similarly on a balanced scale. And yes, I'm going to be meeting straight away one of our research persons of today in terms of High Television, or High Sport rather, where it's no other person than Boris Sono, who is going to be giving us his own point of view in terms of this particular ongoing issue that is happening around our national team. But before we go into our own topic of discussion, Boris, I saw you jubilating when Man City took the lead yesterday. You're welcome on board.
Good evening to you, Sonita. Good evening to all the listeners and the viewers. Reasons why I say listeners, there are a couple of individuals who might be following us just hearing without watching. We call them the physically challenged individuals. Good evening to you. I wasn't really in a joyous mood because I don't support Man City. I don't support Arsenal. I don't support Spurs. My club I support unfortunately failed me in the Premier League this year. We had the ambition of winning, I think, 3 titles or 4 titles or so. We had the Premier League, we had the Europa League, We had the Carabao Cup. We won that Carabao Cup, but unfortunately, it's like our momentum changed, and the FA Cup too we missed out. So yeah, that's Liverpool. Unfortunately, Jurgen Klopp had his farewell campaign this year, but unfortunately, he's going out of Liverpool as a man who won just the Carabao Cup for Liverpool this year. But take nothing away from Jurgen Klopp. Remember that he has given Liverpool the first Premier League title. It has never been done since the Premier League was incepted, brought into fruition. They've won the league, but not the Premier League. And so it's a first title for Liverpool, which they won a couple of years back. They won the Champions League equally. So I think he's going out of Liverpool as a satisfied man. But I must say here that the Premier League is something which every year we keep seeing the changes that has been done. But one thing still stays constant. It's just like saying that in the Spanish La Liga, Real Madrid will win the Spanish La Liga. Probably it's not going to be every year, but you know in your mind that they are a contender to the title. Either Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid. You know that one of these teams will win the Spanish La Liga. So in England, it's now a normal scene for City to be contesting for the title, and they've been doing that. Remember that Guardiola is going to create history. I said he's going to. I didn't say has created, because there's something which is very important that we have to understand. Since the Premier League was created, nobody has ever won the Premier League 4 times successively. The great Sir Alex Ferguson has tried, but ended at 3. Man City won the league last year and equaled that record 3 successive titles. So nobody, the great managers that we've had in England, nobody has actually won the league 4 successive times. And Pep Guardiola now is on the cusp of creating a history that will stay for probably generations. I might even extend it next year. So I think it's a really important game that we watched yesterday. And Pep Guardiola said it clearly. We must give kudos to the goalkeeper Ortega. I remember that he had 30 minutes in this particular game. And you know what happened, Sonita? He was given the man of the match in that game.
Definitely.
Just 30 minutes he had in the game. And he picked up the man of... It tells you the kind of saves he made in that particular game to give City the victory. And Pep Guardiola said it. Without Ortega, Arsenal are champions. So I think it's important we look at the Premier League as something which is where Cameroon football has to reach. Because that's the benchmark of competitive level. The Premier League is regarded as the best league in the world. It's not because they have a lot of stars. It's because of the quality and the competitiveness in the teams. Remember, in terms of the Spanish La Liga, we already knew that Real Madrid will win. Even before match day 20 or 25, we already knew that they will win. Bayer Leverkusen ran away with the title this year. We knew they win. In France, we knew it's going to be Paris Saint-Germain. But it's only in England that you go right up to the last day to know who win the league. So the Premier League is very competitive. And I think that's where we're heading to in terms of Cameroon. We want to see that level of competitiveness, and I believe that we had it this year. But my problem with the league this year has been the format of the league. And I'm hoping that next year or next season, it's going to change, and I've gotten information that it's going to change. You want to see a one league format. It's not pool A, it's not pool B. Yes, it's competitive, but you don't have the competitiveness in playing the whole teams in a season. You play about, let's say, 30 or so games. But in pool A and pool B, you play, let's say, 12, and you go to the next phase, you play probably 4, and it's ending. No. Let's get the competitiveness back in the team. Let's have a whole league. Victoria don't see them going to Yaoundé, go to Garoua, go to the West region, not to be considered in a particular format. And at the end, they say, okay, they are the champions. I start saying that in code. Are they really? No. They are the champions at the moment. So I think it's important that we keep putting ourselves as a benchmark, and we look at the Premier League as one of the best mark. And this year has been nothing but surprise and intrigue. And come on, it's not ended. It's not ended. On Sunday, things can still happen, even though people are saying things can happen, but technically they know.
The difference is clear.
No, technically they know that it's very difficult for City to leave the league on the last day.
Don't say that.
I said technically. I didn't say it's ended. I use a strategic word because things can happen. Remember, City is playing West Ham United. Things can happen. West Ham can shock City. At the Etihad, come on, man. At the Etihad, that where City hasn't lost for a couple of couple of years now, a couple of days, a couple of games, and we expect West Ham United to win the game. We're not saying that it's not possible, it's possible, but I think it's going to be very difficult for West Ham United to actually win. And the other thing that we're forgetting to understand is that Arsenal is playing Everton, and Everton is not a pushover. So what if Everton to create a suspense and create a surprise? So I think Sunday is going to be interesting. Remember, the games come up simultaneously at 4 p.m.
To avoid.
4 p.m. So we'll be switching from one screen to another. But I think the best match to watch there definitely has to be City being crowned champions this weekend.
Bruce has already concluded. But talking about surprises, Bruce, it's shocking that Regional League side has ousted Cotton Sport of Garoua out of the Cup of Cameroon. What an early exit.
Definitely, Bolua has just eliminated Cotton Sport of Garoua. It's a result which I find quite surprising.
I'm telling you.
Because of the level at which we had seen Cotton Sport this year.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, I don't think I'm very much surprised, because I know you will watch games of Cotton Sport when they play off together. And if you look at the way Cotton Sport played in the last couple of games, I bet you Cotton Sport can be eliminated any day. And I feel like that's the same mindset they had in this particular game. I'm not saying that Daniel Bread went with the mindset that they're going to be eliminated, but
Daniel Bread had earlier told us that he's not scared of his opponent.
Yeah, he's not scared.
He's scared of his players.
A coach has to be very optimistic in his assessment of the game. I just feel like the way I watched Cotton Sport played in the last games of the playoffs, it's not the Cotton Sport I watched last year who won the league. I feel like this year there's really something not right at the moment with Cotton Sport of Garoua, even from the playoffs. And when we're getting this result, we talk about a team, APVA. When people were asking who is APVA from Ibolowa, it's a regional league side. It's not like it's a small team. For some years now, I've been hearing of the name APVA of Ibolowa. But when you categorize the quality of players, you categorize the teams we have in the country, then APVA should be one of the smaller teams as far as Cameroon football is concerned. And for them to get this kind of result shows us that this year we should expect surprises as far as the Cup of Cameroon is concerned. Definitely we're still expecting other results. Like you said, Isosa has moved to the next stage. And congratulations equally to Sinodeb, that has moved to the next stage of the competition. Surprisingly, Sonita, in terms of this game, I had the I don't know what is the
Sinodeb and Renaissance.
I had the hope, the notion also that Sinodeb might win this particular game, because Sinodeb was facing a Renaissance team. We know Renaissance didn't play very well this year, and
but they had should I say, more experience, more they were on the favorable side.
Has played the Cup of Cameroon, so
not disputing that. I thought you wanted to come from the point that looking at the Sinodeb side, who has been on a very good run since the league started, and equally picking up a ticket to this Cup of Cameroon. It was already a signal that this year the Turkey boys actually meant something serious.
I will use the word of our colleague. He's a player, he's a journalistic colleague, Keman Joku, who has always said that he wanted to play the Cup of Cameroon.
Oh, definitely, before he retires.
So I don't know, maybe we're going to get to him again and see if after the 16 finals or so he will retire. But that's his wish.
No, but he has
to play the Cup of Cameroon. And when I watched the game against Fako United, I saw a team that is very much hungry. Okay. Even when we spoke with the coach, Tim Bentui, it was like, this is what we want to do. This is one of our objectives this year, to qualify for the Cup of Cameroon. And the next objective, Mini Interpol. And I feel like this year, if Sinodeb does everything right, believe me, Sinodeb can be one of those sides that qualified for the Mini Interpol because of the quality. Remember, there are a couple of clubs that have been declared general for future, so it's not like the very much high level of competitiveness that we're going to see in the regional league this year. But I think the quality is still there. The players still want to play. They start churning out very much good results day in, day out, week in, week out. And for Sinodeb and for Mboronli Forte, who is a player which I follow every day. His quality is a very much good player. Like you said, from the Cali University Sports Academy, moving up to Sinodeb FA. And even if he doesn't score, the work rate on Boron Lifote is something that is exceptional. From one end to the pitch, you see Boron. From the midfield to the striking the up front, you see Boron there. From the defense, is there to assist and to make sure that he blocks the cross that might come in from the opponent. So I think it's a player that is all rounded. And now when we see him adding goals to his name, I get to smile, because I remember when he was playing with Juma Conrad at Cal University. These were the two guys who were almost in sync as far as goal scoring is concerned, helping to push at the Cal University Sports Academy. So I'm happy for him. He scored 3 goals today. If we had spoken to him before this particular game, then boy, you're going to score 3 goals, he might just look at you and laugh. But that's how football is.
He hardly talks while in the
and
pitch.
That's how football is. So we happy that not just one team is going to the 16 finals, because that was a fear I had heading into this particular 32nd finals. That because I already knew that either Isosa or Ledger will move to the next stage as a representative of the Southwest region, because both sides are from the Southwest. So Southwest was already assured of at least one place at the 16 finals. So I was like, maybe the game was going to be difficult for Senior there, but I think they proved me wrong, producing 5 goals in this particular game, and it's something
being the first to score.
Yeah, definitely something which they really need to come back, enjoy the moment, like the players who always say, on to the next game. This one is finished. Next game is next week. Remember that the fixtures has already been made known. Not the fixtures, but
the calendar.
The calendar has been made known. So Sindev will be looking at this next open. I think it's East 1 or so. So it's going to be crucial to see how Sindev move to the next stage and how they approach this particular game. We want to see them challenge the big boys, because Sindev is a big side. Unfortunately, for the past couple of years, they've been in the regional league. Maybe they are contented in the regional league, but there are a couple of players who really want to test. They've seen how Isosa play, and they've seen how Victor United play. So they too probably want to join and test the elite level as far as football is concerned. So I'm happy for them, but unfortunately for our other 2 representatives, we knew it was going to be a tough game for Talented. Remember, first of all, I must say congratulations to the management of Talented FA. This is a regional league side. I say regional league side because it's like they've been in the regional league for 5 years. They just qualified only last year. They qualified last year from the Fako Divisional League as one of the teams promoted. Unfortunately, they were beaten in the semi-final, so they passed through, I think, the back door, not necessarily the front door. But this year, they've been really trying to put their act together, try to survive the league, because first of all, coming from the divisional league, you want to survive in the regional league and not go back straight down like we've seen a couple of teams like Temstar who came from Anu and went back straight. Unfortunately, Dream Soccer missed out. Went to the the relegation battle against Nenfa Mguti and survived. While Nenfa went down, Dream Soccer stayed. This year we're looking at Manu FC.
I think they have proven their word.
Yeah, they have proven their word. The issue
with
that is that this year we're not going to have any. I don't think there's going to be any relegation again, because if you look at the number of teams that have been relegated or declared general for future, 6 teams already. So there's no need having a relegation again. So all the teams will stay.
We are only going to see what the federation is going to do.
That's what I'm saying. To me, my own opinion, there's no need for another relegation, because cannot have general for future for about more than 6 teams, and you can't again say you want to relegate other teams. To me, it doesn't make sense. So I think Manu is going to stay.
Maybe they can relegate and like about 5 teams qualify for the Fako Division.
No, I don't think any team is going to relegate. The issue now is the various divisional champion leagues
that are
going to have more slots to send representatives to regional league next year. So let's say 9, they might give, let's say 3 to Fako, or 4 to Fako. Meme is playing. They give, let's say 2. Lebi Alem wants to start. They have not started. Kobe Maningba wants to start. They have not started. So
and in Dian, nothing yet has been said about Dian, but they are in the process.
There are going to be opportunities to get more representative from the divisional league. So there is no need to me to have a relegation again for teams that maybe finish at the bottom of the league. So I knew that it is going to be very difficult for Talented. They were playing aside in Canon who unfortunately are crying because they missed out on the league. And so I feel like it was going to be very difficult, and it proved the case with Talented beating in that particular game. For Legend FA, I feel like it's, first of all, we must say congratulations to the team to qualify for the second final. It's not an easy feat to qualify for the second finals. There were a lot of teams that participated in the qualifiers from the Southwest region to qualify for the second finals. Just 2 qualified through the front door. 1, Talente, was bought from the back door after UMS of Loon was given the issue that he had. So, but I feel like the next round is going to be crucial. Senior Dev, Isosa, Victoria United plays on Sunday. This is another representative that we are hoping will move to the next. I think you guys are playing Gaundere FC. Yes. We know what's happening in that particular league in Gaundere, how the team qualified. And if you look at the balance sheet of the number of clubs involved, it's about 27 clubs, just 4 have licenses. So ask your question, what is wrong? One team will have about 27 licenses,
while another
team can only have
none.
1 license. So we just hope that things are really going to be brought to order, because like we said, we want to see good football. You cannot have a league with 27 clubs and then you play a league with just 4 teams. That's basically 3 games. Ali and Redu, 6 games, and you send a representative to the mini Interpol.
When they go to the mini Interpol, performance is what we don't see.
So
is that questioning the competitiveness of that particular region?
Definitely, we want to say competitiveness. Let it be an even playing field. Yes, we know that there's an issue of producing the licenses. It's not just in Adamawa, even the Southwest, even in the Central region, the Northwest equally. They say they want to start in the next 2 weeks or so. There have been kind of licenses. Are they going to start? We don't know. We are hoping that the licenses have been given to them. So let's hope and say. But I think congratulations first of all to Isusa, and congratulations equally to Sinodev. 2 sides qualified already to the 16 finals, and we're hoping that we have a 3rd team in Victoria United that joins them this weekend.
And definitely we are hoping to see what that particular game is definitely going to yield as fruits. And away from the Cup of Cameroon 32 Cup finals, and equally Tottenham and Manchester City, let's talk on the Lions, what's transpiring in terms of the Lions, and where Fecafoot means seemingly on a balanced scale. I'm talking about the various, especially for the FA room, a few days back, have decided to acknowledge Mark Boyce as the head coach of the Indomitable Lions. Boris, your take on the several events that have been happening in terms of the national team?
Well, the Cold War these days, unfortunately, it hasn't really ended. Or the hope of it ending anytime soon is very far-fetched. That notwithstanding, what we stakeholders and officials are hoping is that we have things brought to normal, because what suffers is not Fecafoot.
Definitely
Fecafoot, yeah, they'll suffer, but the Ministry of Sports and Physical Education, yeah, they'll suffer, but not as what the football in Cameroon will be. That is the national team being kicked out of the qualifiers for the FIFA World Cup because of the problems that might ensue. I remember that FIFA, in the letter that was sent to Fecafoot, called on this particular body to go back and address the statutes that is signed with the Ministry of Sports and Physical Education. That is the problem when it comes to football in this country. Unfortunately, Fecafoot can write so and so forth and complain, but they signed it. Unfortunately, it's not Samuel Eto'o who signed. It has been there since the genesis of the other presidents who signed. Since I think 2015 that was signed. So the convention was signed between Fecafoot and the Ministry of Sports and Physical Education. That Fecafoot proposes, the minister appoints, and the minister pays the salaries of the coaches and other assistants, where Fecafoot equally takes care of the auxiliary staff. And so that's the unfortunate thing that happened. We already know the genesis of these problems, so there's no need me going back to tell you the genesis. But I think the one move that we should understand here is this. Remember that Fecafoot, in court, called for a signing ceremony with the General Secretary of the Fecafoot, that's Mr. Blaise Junang. Unfortunately, Mark Boyce didn't turn out. And Mark Boyce had his own press conference equally that day at 3 p.m. to bring his list of players called up. I think we'll talk about the players also, but let's look at this particular aspect. that was something which I found very intriguing, because if the coach has put his own press conference at 3 and Fecafoot says there's a signing ceremony at 11, then McBrace doesn't attend, hosts his own press conference with the appointed staff of the Ministry of Sports and Physical Education,
few hours later,
then it doesn't speak well. It doesn't tell you that there's any end to this crisis. But I was very happy when I saw McBrace again attending the, in quote, working session of the Fecafoot, because why? We are hoping for a consensus.
Definitely.
Yes, many will say that McBrace should not have attended, but Fecafoot can use that against him.
Definitely.
And maybe give him a sack that you've called you for a meeting, working session, you didn't come, pap, right? Send it to FIFA. That would be another big problem again to come on football. So I was happy, one, that he attended, but I think the fallout of that meeting is not what we are seeing from Fecafoot. Fecafoot has his own communique, well-written communique. I'm not going to be talking about the grammar and weighty of the date was not right. That's not my problem here. But it was a well-written communique that we want peace. But my problem here is the last statement. The appointed officials to take their position. Whose staff?
The ones they appointed.
That's what I'm telling you. That's why I'm simply saying that it doesn't show that the crisis is coming to an end. It would have been better. That's what we're saying.
No,
because they say the staff should assume their full responsibility. It means that Fecafoot officials, appointed staff, and Idris Carlos Kamani, goalkeeping trainer, and David Pagu, assistant coach, should be at McBrace's side when he's doing his training.
Okay.
Then McBrace now, no, I'm going. That's what I'm saying. That you ask me a question, can it be solved? I'm like, it's very difficult. It can be, but at the moment, there's no sign that these two parties want to come to a consensus. Like we said, if McBrace has called the players, Fecafoot has acknowledged the list, we'll be sending the letters. If there are any issues, gets back to McBrace to do the changes. So, okay, Sunita, let's say this is the month of June. The training session has been called for the 10th of June. The players are to arrive, say, the 8th of June.
The two technicals.
So, which technical team welcomes the players? Is it McBrace that goes with his ministry appointed staff? Or is the Fecafoot appointed staff to come?
I think this is the dilemma
where we
are into at the moment.
Definitely.
I think this is something that we have to handle with immediate effect. We are less than 3 weeks away to June. And when we talk about June, we know what's at stake. We're having Cape Verde and Angola to be able to beat these two sides who proved a different side during the Just African and the African Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast. Now, imagine a team like Angola and Cape Verde who has a stable mind, not as disturbed, not having a lot of controversies like that of Cameroon at the moment, where some of these players, though they might have been happy that they have called them, but they equally have some mixed feeling within them, especially with what is transpired within the national team. I think the two parties have to settle down.
Well, we have 3 weeks to go before we face Cape Verde on the 8th of June in Yaoundé. Can it be solved before then? Like I said, we just have to wait and see when the players come, because remember, like we said, it's a ministry that pays the players. It's not Fecafoot. That's the unfortunate thing. Unlike other federations, that it is the
FA
association, the FA, that pays the players. In Cameroon is different. That's because of the convention that was signed, and that's why FIFA said Fecafoot needs to revisit that convention, and Fecafoot cannot go back and unsign it without the minister. So
it's not possible.
Both parties need to sit down and look at the convention, and I bet too the ministry will never allow the national team not to be under his control. Even the president said so. He's the number one supporter of the national side.
Okay, this is
that notwithstanding.
We have a question talking about the president of the republic, and this person says good evening to you in the studio, and he says that the president of the republic should intervene and take a decision to be able to solve this ongoing crisis between Fecafoot and MINSEP, or else it's going to bounce back on us. Now the question is, remember that this whole thing started because of his instructions during his speech for the 11th February. And like how many persons have been putting it, it is MINSEP acting to what the head of state said. Now we are into a very complex situation. Do you think that the right person to solve this same issue is still the head of state? I'm putting it to you, bro.
It's the head of state who has to solve it because he has the final say. Many people are talking about the fact that it was backed by a couple of government officials. I don't know about that. That's why he's acting big. I don't know about that.
But should that be a point of contention at the
it's a point of contention because the minister is fighting against his own fellow ministers. That's the problem that we are having. So there are a lot of factors within the problem we have in this country in terms of Cameroon Football Federation, FECAFOOT, and the Minister of Sport and Physical Education. But we'll go back to the genesis. Like we said, sometimes we, the fans and officials, stakeholders, lovers of football, analysts, have to take a moment. Yes, we know you like Eto'o. We know Samuel Eto'o is an individual that carries a lot of weight when it comes to football sense. He's one of the Africa's greatest players, a 4-time African Player of the Year. In football, it is almost no match in Africa. That is me, not somebody be asking, what about Roger Milla and the others? To me, I regard Samuel Eto'o as the first greatest African player first greatest African player. We'll talk about Roger Milla and the others. So Eto'o has a stand in football. But we have to also look at the fact that the minister also has his stance. He might be right, he might be wrong. That's for you to judge. But let's go back to the genesis. The genesis started from where we had in Ivory Coast, the poor performance. Yes, we defeated the Gambia in the last group game to qualify for the round of 16, but we had the poor performance at the round of 16, losing to Nigeria. And even the president himself was very disappointed. Like we said, for the first time in my history, the president began the Youth Day message addressing the performance of the Lions then. He spoke volume. And I feel like that's something that we are forgetting. That, like you said, the minister is not acting per his prerogative. The problem now is what message was delivered from the head of state to the minister. Or has the minister overstepped in the message that was delivered to him?
But you should be able to answer that because in as much as what I know, I'm putting it back to you, in as much as he's acting upon the instructions of the head of state. Remember, like I always say, there are some laws actually governing the two parties, talking about the FA and the Minister of Sport,
Sonita,
the
like
Ministry
we said,
of Sport and Physical Education.
We said, first of all, we have to look at the genesis. I'll come to the like we said, the convention is what binds these two together. And the convention states clearly, FECAFOOT proposes, suggests, and the minister will give the final signing on or the final blessing. That's where the problem stems from. Why must it be that FECAFOOT will propose? Why not FECAFOOT giving the position of appointing? So that's the first problem that we're having. It's not about the minister what. First of all is the convention. The convention to me is flawed because the FA should be in the position to appoint a coach. The problem now lies, can the FA pay the coach? No. That's where the minister comes in, or the ministry comes in, which is the state that pays the coach. So that's where the problem lies. Can FECAFOOT sign its convention and make it in such a way that it can pay the coach that is appointing? Unfortunately, at the moment, the answer is no. And that's why the minister steps in. I keep saying the minister, probably I should use the state steps in. So, first of all, that's where the problem lies. Even if Samuel Eto'o concedes, or even if the ministry concedes, it will still happen again in the future. Yeah. Because we say, Samuel Eto'o is not going to die at FECAFOOT. Minister Nasir Melekom is not going to die at the ministry. These guys will change position left, right, center. What if another person comes again and falls in the same problem? We'll go back to the same problem. So it's not necessarily the fact that the minister is working on the high instruction of the head of state. Like I said, what is the limit of that instruction? Yes, the minister received the high instruction. Is it that for you to appoint all the staff, or you appoint the coach?
We don't know.
It was precise in terms of the coach from the head of state.
No. Maybe the head of state said he has given the high instruction to look into the problem of the Lions. He didn't say whether it's the coach or it is the staff. Like we said, the problem now is
we are coming to a consensus that it is the head of state.
The head of state has given a message for
the
the minister to work on, and the minister is working on that message. But like I said,
but he's working alone. He's not working with the FA. That's the problem.
President Bobia in the message did say the head of state. The head of state didn't say he has given the instruction to the ministry to work with the FECAFOOT.
Okay, no.
He said he has given the minister instructions, not to look, instructions to look into. And what is that instruction? To address the problem that we have. The problem is that we had a poor performance and Son's contract was coming to an end, and that's why it was not added.
Boris, I'm happy
let me come to the point.
Okay.
Secondly, when Son was removed from that position, technically all the other staff, the position was made void.
Yeah.
Like we said, what is the limit of that high instruction? That is my problem. It's not whether the minister is right or wrong, or FECAFOOT is right or wrong. My problem is this: if the instruction has been given, what is the limit? Is the limit just to the coach, or the limit goes down to the auxiliary staff? And remember, FECAFOOT is the one paying the auxiliary staff. For example, the team manager, probably the press officer, and the others.
Yeah.
So what is the limit? That's my problem. So if we know the limit, then I think this thing will come to an end. If the president says, minister, adjust this issue, appoint all the staff, then the problem now goes back to him.
Yeah.
To look into the aspect, because he gave the minister, and the minister will just follow. Just like a boss saying that go this way. They said, no, boss, I will go back after 5 years. No, your boss will just sack you at the moment. So,
just to pose you an intriguing question, like you rightly said, the minister instructed, the president instructed the minister to look into the problem due to a poor performance at the Just Ended African Cup of Nations. I put it to you, as a boss of an organization or of a company, it happens that you have low productivity, and your board of directors, or let me say your shareholders, who pump in money into that organization, tells you that it is like this: we are receiving deficit instead of a profit. Please look into that situation. Wait, Boris, I'm not true. I am not true. So, do you go as the manager of that company? Do you go straight away to sack all the employees that you have to recruit new ones? The first question. Or do you have a board meeting with these employees, especially the workers who are the labor force of that company, to tell them that this is the situation of the company and our shareholders are not happy with it, so we need to step up our game? Those are the two questions I'm asking you.
We don't reason like some of them. And for example, the next day you are even receiving your sack, even when you're getting from you're receiving a sack letter on your email that, sorry, don't even bother coming to work today. You're being relieved. That's how most say professionally. That's how big companies do.
Definitely.
They don't have time to even tell you to have a meeting. They sack you immediately.
Wait, are you sacking?
No. I'm asking the question.
Come back to the practical aspect.
I am asking the question. I'm doing asking it in a practical sense. You use a company and big company shareholders.
Yeah.
I'm giving you the scene of shareholders.
Are you saying
and how
that they
work.
are sacking the director or the employees?
First of all, most of the time, the CEO himself is sacked before the other. That's how it is.
But there is always a meeting to adjust
Sonita,
things.
that's what we're saying. Let's
unless they are prejudges to the whole incident.
Let's look it based on what happens in these big companies. We hear every day the CEO has been sacked. They are going to relieve 1,000 job employees. Do you think how they do those things? They have your records. And that's why they are big companies. They keep your records. Sunita, you don't come to office for the past.
I was using this practical example.
I'm using it to come
back to the current crisis that we are having.
And I'm coming to it. You used a very clear point, and it's a good point that we can use to judge the scenario and what can be done. In big companies and shareholders, when things are not going on right, they have your records. They have who is performing, who is not performing. And by the time they notice that you're not performing, one, you're at the risk of losing the job. So that when there's a problem, when the CEO is faced with job issue, they are not getting a lot of money in the company, one, they sack you at once. They tell you that they're going to relieve you of your duty, probably give you a 1 week to put your act together, and they sack you. That's how it's done. And that's the same thing that was used with the Cameroon Football Federation and the national team. Remember, Son was not sacked immediately after the AFCON. His contract was to end in the month of February. So, because why? If they had sacked Son, they would have paid Son.
Yeah,
So they had to
that's
wait.
breach of contract.
So they had to wait for his contract to end and to just say, Papa, thank you very much. You are Manyang. You have given a lot for this country, to the people. Thank you very much, but we are not going to renew your contract. That's what was done. So they gave him a bit of time to know that they're going to sack him. He knew that they would sack him. And the people who were assisting knew they were going to sack them. So that is one thing that I often understand. Big companies operate the same way as the national team and what is going on. Like I said, my problem is not whether they sack people or they don't sack people. There are two key issues that I have said. One, the convention between the ministry and FECAFOOT needs to be looked into. Like I said, it's not a problem only for President Samuel Eto'o. It was a problem for Iya Mohammed, who refused to sign. And what happened? The minister said, okay, if you don't want to sign, stay now. He signed the contract, and what happened? The coach worked for 2 years and nothing happened. It has happened twice, and this is the third time it's happening in Cameroon. So it tells you that there's a problem with the convention. But my problem here is, can FECAFOOT pay the coaches? At the moment, the answer is no.
Why will you say no? You are not in their coffers.
No. Are
you following the convention as of now?
We know what is happening.
You know.
We know.
You know,
we
Boris.
know.
You know.
We know what is happening. Because let's be frank.
No, I really don't want us to generalize or equally put in sentiments in this
I'm
issue.
not putting on sentiments.
That's why I'm debunking the aspect of you saying we know that FECAFOOT cannot pay.
I didn't say all of us know. I said we know. I know the we that I'm saying.
Okay.
I didn't put you. I said we know what is happening. And let's be frank with ourselves. FECAFOOT at the moment cannot pay all the staff appointed, from the coach to the assistant. And
what basis do you have?
And that's why the minister comes in. What is the salary of the coach, Tonita? That's
what I'm telling you. Have you looked at the coffers?
No, I asked the question. I asked the question. What is the salary of the coach in a month? Mark Brace at the moment.
I forgot.
25 million a month. Multiply that by
12.
a year.
Yeah.
That is how much. The mathematicians there, you calculate and tell us in an SMS. Just text on it the amount. But look at the coffers of the Cameroon Football Federation. Look at the problem that they had in getting the stadia used for the Elite One Championship. Look at the teams themselves. Subvention. Do all of them have subvention? No. Look at the gate tickets. How much was given to them, teams, as gate tickets when the league finished? Yeah, I know other gate tickets might be given after, but how much was given as first quarter and the moment? So at the moment,
so, okay, you are using.
We're not using sentiments.
No, I want to come back to your point. So you are using the subventions that some clubs have not had.
I am seeing at the moment
what's on ground
as facts.
The subventions, the gate takings.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's what you made mention of. Yeah. So you are using these two to be able to categorize that because of the lapses within these two sectors, the FA of the country cannot handle the payments.
Payment. And remember, FECAFOOT is not paying only the coach. FECAFOOT pays each and every player.
Yes.
And that is what the government takes care. The players and the coach.
His manager.
There's a staff. So if FECAFOOT take that one and handle. So we are not. I'm not saying that FECAFOOT cannot, but at the moment, they cannot pay every individual in the national team, and that's why it's left for the minister or the state to handle. But like I said, FECAFOOT needs to look at other avenues. Look at what is happening in Nigeria. They have their sponsors. The sponsors can give money that can take care of the national team. But do we have that? No. The league, for example, MTN pays to FECAFOOT, and it's for the league. What about the national team? So I think FECAFOOT needs to look at other avenues to multiply their sponsors. Remember, only FC Barcelona alone has more than 10 sponsors.
Talk about
It's not like they don't need money.
Definitely.
They have, but they are looking for others.
Yeah.
And the national federation should be able to get those sponsors. That's what we're saying. For example,
And just to cut you
Argentina
short,
is sponsored
Boris,
by Coca-Cola.
just to
You know
cut you
how
short,
much is given just to that team.
for the callers who are calling, sorry, please, you can call us back using the number on your screen. 650-347263 is the number. If you want to chip in your own contribution either through a call or through a text message as a normal, and equally on WhatsApp, we are waiting on your own contributions. For those who have been calling, we're sorry, you can call back. Yes, back to you, Boris. Okay, we have a caller on the line. Good evening and welcome to the program.
Good evening.
And please, who am I? Are we talking to?
This is Pewe is calling from Korea.
Okay. Please, straight to the point.
I just want to appreciate the analysis on the program. But I just want to say that the agreement between FECAFOOT and the Ministry of Sports does not supersede the law that guides FIFA. And first of all, that agreement is not a law. That's the problem people like to understand.
Okay.
It is not a law that guides football. It's just an agreement, which means that it can still be cancelled. And so when in law, when situations like this come, they go to the higher law. And the higher law now is the one that FIFA has, not the one that a country has. That's the first thing.
Okay.
Secondly, when we talk of FECAFOOT cannot pay a coach, it's because we look at very expensive coaches from abroad. You cannot tell me that if they take our local coaches here to pay 2 million, 5 million, FECAFOOT cannot pay them. FECAFOOT can do it. There's money in FECAFOOT. What I know is that FECAFOOT has the upper hand as far as the national team is concerned. What we are supposed to look at is we are supposed to look at the law that guides football in the world, not the law that guides Cameroon. Because the law in Cameroon or the agreement that they have cannot supersede that of FIFA. So if you see what FIFA is doing, I believe that everything there is politics also.
Okay.
I can say the president of FIFA, they are also trying to look at a way where they will strike the balance, because you know there are elections too that come, and so if they don't strike the balance well, when they start having enemy countries, they start losing their votes also. So that's the intelligence that the FIFA committee or the president is trying to use. And when we talk of Eto'o and his team has failed, I don't think so. It's because people are looking at the failure at the World Cup and
The African Cup of Nations.
African Cup of Nations. They should look at other things that he has done. And I believe that when he wasn't there, the national team had failed so many times. Why are people looking at these two competitions? They are not looking at the money increase that have been done by Eto'o in FECAFOOT, giving monies to teams and so on. And if as the analyst is complaining of they are not giving subvention to teams, is because the condition that FECAFOOT gave, the teams have not met up with. It's not like FECAFOOT does not have money. FECAFOOT gives certain conditions that they have to meet up with. Some of them have not paid their players. All the teams, just about, is it 3 or 4 that have paid their players? And so these subventions cannot be given to them. So there are so many things they have to look at, not to look at only these two competitions that Eto'o has failed. I think Eto'o is just doing what he has to do, following the law. That is my suggestion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Williams, for contributing on our very interesting topic for today.
Well, that's okay. So this, I think I was jotting because we also made a very, very vital point, a couple of points there. Probably I start from the last part.
Subventions.
Talked about subvention that FECAFOOT has put requirements. First of all, we have to understand that anybody who holds a position, if you don't want criticisms, please don't even take a position. That's the first thing that you have to understand. Anybody, even in Wasmon Jangi, the way they criticize people in that place, you just tell you not to even go and be president of your Njangi house. So you first of all must be able to take criticisms. That doesn't mean that people should not talk about your good part. That's the unfortunate thing that I see sometimes, that unfortunately people feel I look only at the bad side and I fail to point the good side. So you must be able to balance. Yes, Etofis has failed in many cases, but he has had good things in other cases. And that's how leaders are. Leaders fail in so many places and balance it up in another place. So we must understand that, first of all, a leader must be able to be criticized, because you're holding what? It is a public office, not a private office.
Yeah.
Fecafoot is a public entity, not a private office that it cannot be criticized. But like I said, it must be done in an orderly way, knowing that he has good aspects and bad attributes. Which one overshadows, you decide that one. No, that's not my business. So the point here is the aspect of the fact that Fecafoot has put a couple of rules and regulations before the subvention are to be paid. But I ask myself a question: what about teams that have fulfilled all those things and yet cannot even have the subvention?
Like which, Boris?
It's Youngster Academy of Bamenda. He has fulfilled, but what has happened?
We just keep our fingers crossed and wait to see
that's what we're saying. That I didn't really want to go deep, because there are a couple of things that we might match on toes and so on and so forth. But that's not what we're looking at here. We're looking at the aspect of, if teams have fulfilled their requirement, there's no need for that subvention to be
just to bring you back with Young Sports Academy. Was it before the league or within the league? It is
not before. Whether it's before the league, middle league, end of league.
I am asking this because remember that before the end of the first phase of the just ended season, subventions were paid to clubs.
Not all the clubs.
That's what I'm saying. Subventions were paid to clubs who had finished. I remember that Young Sport from the beginning of the championship had serious financial issues. Are we on the same line? So that's why I'm posing you the question: was it within the league, or was it before the league started?
So
remember that one of the parts in which Fecafoot is laying more emphasis is the issue of paying the salaries of these players.
My problem is not whether the pay.
No, because you made mention of Young Sport, which I know to have had a lot of financial issues.
I have spoken with the officials, and we know what is happening on various social media groups.
You and them know.
But I said I have. Okay, I didn't say we have.
Okay.
No, let's be clear. I said I have. I didn't use the word we have.
Okay.
So we should be clear. It's not like we are sugarcoating something. There are some certain times we need to be honest with ourselves.
Definitely.
And look at the teams and the people who are struggling to pay the players. And if they have paid, there is no need for those subventions to be withheld. I'm just simply talking on the point of view that he says that Fecafoot has put convention, rules and regulation. Yeah. It's good to put the rules and regulation, because why? The players should benefit from their trade. That is what they are doing. That's their own profession. I cannot play for a team 5 years, I cannot have a salary. Then there's a problem. Especially and if Fecafoot want to come and put rules and regulations that have to pay salaries, to me, I see that as a good thing, because we must pay players. You cannot pay a player 2,000. You wait again after 5 months before you come and give him 2,000. That no. Then there's a problem. So with the I don't have a problem with the rules. I don't have, because to me, it's for the players, for the benefit of players. My problem is, if teams have fulfilled that requirement,
then they should be able to
what
receive
is
their
happening with the subvention that they have not received? I'll leave that to official to decide.
And equally, not just the subvention, Boris, we equally have some champions who equally have not received their payment. So it's not us sugarcoating words, but we have there are a lot of lapses.
That's what we're saying. Like I
ongoing.
said, when you look on social media, people criticize. They criticize only on the bad aspect. Like I said, it's good to criticize, but also point out the good things. One, the good thing is this: those rules are for the players, for the benefit of the players. If you are a player, you are playing football, you call yourself in quote professional, you must see yourself professional. In a month, we are not saying that you must carry 300,000 every month, but at least in a month, something should enter your pocket. You should be able to
boast of something.
That you are paid by your club. Mr. Afese Apong, a journalist out in the Northwest, recently put out a communique or something about Sinafok, that at the moment about 3 clubs have not even paid salaries only a month
of their players. And
so one, that rule is very good because it is for the player. But what we're saying is this: we are not criticizing just to criticize. But what we are indicating, if clubs are trying and they fulfill, to me, I don't see any reason for the subvention to be withheld. Like we said, it's political. It might be withheld for political reason.
Definitely.
That's their own cup of tea. I'm not here to be talking about political issues. That's their own cup of tea. Even in FIFA, there are a lot of political issues that go on.
There is.
So, Wills, yes, the rule is there for the players, but I think to me, if the teams fulfill the requirement,
then
the money should be in their coffer. He made another thing about the law and a bigger law should be able to
I think Boris, if we have to go, if we have to go to that,
I'm just going to be
we are
brief.
not going to have enough time. We still have a lot of things to discuss.
I'm going to be brief because why it caught my attention because of why that convention is a big convention. Even FIFA himself said it that FIFA would go back to that.
The two parties should have an understanding.
FIFA highlighted it. They cannot move because FIFA vote signed it and it's binding. You cannot tell FIFA not to or to break. You cannot united break a law or a convention when you sign together two parties. So before you break that, these two parties have to sit together and understand themselves and come to a consensus and say, okay, it's not moving.
What do we do?
Concede. What do we do? And so on. So they must agree before that convention is removed. FIFA cannot step in. That's what we're saying. Where FIFA can step in is when the problem continues. Two staff is this one is training this way. This one is. That's where the problem.
So are we going to split the players?
No. Brace will continue working. Unfortunately, he works. His contract was signed with the minister. I know with FIFA. That's the unfortunate thing. So you work with his staff that FIFA, the minister gave him. But the problem now is where are we heading to? We used to talk about also having a local coach that we have to pay them. I keep saying, and I will keep saying it again, every year, we cannot keep working on the same trend. You cannot keep having just two local players in your team. Yes, I'm happy that Mr. Magbrace called Jose Amanco, called Gino Don Bosco, but I believe that the quota should have been extended.
We are going to come to that list, Boris.
I'm not talking about the list.
I know.
About the aspect
I think that we're running out of
things,
time and we
so
still have other issues. Truth be told, if we have to keep talking about these controversies within the national team, it's going to never end, especially when the crisis within has not yet been solved. I want to equally thank all the contributors so far who have given in what they think it's the problem, how they can solve it, and equally what is the way forward. And the way from Fecafoot, Minsef, seemingly on a scale of balance, I think let's talk about the 31 pre-selected list of players by Magbrace was released on Friday, the 10th of May 2024. And yes, it was a mixed feelings for so many Cameroonians. Some were happy, some criticized, and some equally were not happy with some of the selected players that were caught up in terms of Magbrace's list. But I think that so far it's been more positive moves than negatives. But I'm going to ask Boris Osono what is his general thought in terms of this particular list released by Magbrace.
Well, I think I wanted to give Magbrace a 90, but I removed 5 mark.
So it is 85. But why?
No, I'm even thinking of bringing it down to 70.
But why?
Like I said, I think the quota for local-based players should be increased.
Definitely. Okay, you just reminded me of something. I saw a quota of local players from across other African countries, and I think we were one of the very last.
Yeah, I keep saying that if a country wants to build its national team, they must look from within. Unfortunately, many are saying that our league is not professional, but I think we have quality players, from goalkeepers to defenders, to strikers who are playing well, to midfielders who are playing not just in Cameroon but in the African leagues. And many will saying that talk about Chemalonga. Yeah, Chemalonga has proven his worth that he deserved. To me, he deserved to have been called up. I don't know why he was not looked at. Probably it was an oversight. But I wish that the coach should look at it because, like we said, for the past couple of years, Chemalonga has been consistently consistent in his play. Yes, he has titles to show for that.
Yeah,
he has won the leagues
with
out there in Cotton Sport. He has won
a lot of trophies with Simba,
Tanzania. So he has the quality. So I feel like that's one person that
he deserves a
should
chance.
have been looked at. The goalkeeping department too is another problem. Like I said, I'm deducting the marks because I feel like Magbrace, there's something we should
talk about Simon. I know
in that list. Yes, I'm happy that Fabrice Ondua was not brought in because, like I said, we don't want to be seeing players who are not playing and consistently being called up, to me, it doesn't speak volume. Excuse me. You cannot have a player, just I've forgotten his name now. He plays for Stade Rennais, the goalkeeper of Stade Rennais, Ashu Karido.
Ashu Karido, yeah.
Ashu Karido was one of the consistent goalkeepers to me this year.
And with 10 clean sheets in 20 games.
Definitely. To me, if I have to remove any player now from the goalkeeping department, Simon Gapando,
Definitely.
who keeps warming the bench with Olympics younger side. I don't know. Yes, he's young. I'm not saying that you cannot call young players, but I feel like if we have quality goalkeepers like Ashu Karido and a couple of other individuals who are proving their worth in the league this year, to me they should have been given another eye again. So I think the goalkeeping department is okay, and Onana has been consistently consistent. Simon Omusola equally has been brought in again. Remember that we took 5 goalkeepers to the AFCON, which is something that was really not really happy with that. Simon is also a player which at the moment has consistently been consistent in warming bench, which is something which I think we should really be looking at in this particular aspect. So for Simon Gapandup, I feel like he's young. Like I said, it's a long way to go, but the coach said we have to be taking people who are playing regularly. And this is some guy who is not playing regularly. I feel like we should have had local-based goalkeeper in this particular selection, like Ashu Karido, like you said, 10 clean sheet, the best record for the league this year. Goalkeepers, I think they will have interesting call-up. I'm happy that we have a mix of new faces that I've never heard. And it took me time to go back and look at the records of some of these players who were called up. And believe me, Sonita, these guys are playing consistently. Some have 27 games in their leg just this year. Some have scored 11 goals, others have 5 goals. Yes, you say they are playing in Qatar, but come on, they are scoring the goals and they are playing consistently. So do we go play who are warming the bench, or we go for an individual who is playing consistently? So that's something that we have to really look at. And I'm happy equally that we have Five Collins back. People will be saying that why Five Collins again, why Five Collins again? No, but Five Collins, since he signed for, I just have forgotten the name of that club now. He has been playing consistently with the club. So I feel like that's something that we should look at it. Look at his consistency and not look at the fact that he didn't have a club before, but now he has a club. So I think he merits coming back to the side. Another person which I'm happy coming back is Michael Ngandu, the defender at the backstage. I feel like we missed Ngandu at the AFCON in the Ivory Coast.
He's always that
level-headedness, the defender who can. I've seen Ngandu as Rigobertson. To me, I see Ngandu as Rigobertson when Rigobertson was playing in his heydays. Yeah. And I feel like there's somebody who missed out in the AFCON, and for him to come back tells me that Mark Bass was actually really following on this particular guy. Midfielders, definitely, and Drifang Zambugisa is there. Carlos Baleba, somebody want to talk about. I don't know if he won on that caught up because still yet his mind is not 100%. Surprisingly, even after Mark Bass met him, at the moment we're still getting reports that his mind is not yet made up. So we don't know if he's going to honor the call, but we really want to see him honor because Baleba is somebody who has a lot of quality. When you see him play with Brighton and Hove Albion, he has a quality in him that he can change defenders. And when we have the likes of Zambangisa, we can have Carlos Baleba midfield. Probably we have Martin Hongla, who unfortunately will be relegated with a sloppy in La Liga. Definitely. So next year we'll be playing Division 2, unfortunately, for Martin Hongla. And so he's coming back at the side, and probably we might mix it up with Chindo Jombosco in the midfield there. And
that's even only if they have to make it to the finalist.
Yeah, the other person that to me would have been dropped. I know when Magbris was doing his tour, we saw the both parties smiling. That's Maxime Choupo-Moting. To me, I would have dropped Maxime Choupo-Moting because he hasn't played the number of games to me that I expect Maxime to have in this midfield. Attacking compartment, I don't feel like there's a lot of change that have been done. The only name that is there that many are still crying for is Christian Bassogog. Christian Bassogog, let's just be honest, he's playing regularly.
He's doing well.
That's something that we should not remove from him. He plays regularly. But can Christian Bassogog add the quality that we need? To me, we might have had another person being brought in maybe from the local scene. We have Jus Amanko who has scored
I'm going to come back to you.
goals, so.
Let me take on these various reactions before we get back into analysis of Mark Boy's pre-selected list of players ahead of the double confrontation of the World Cup qualifier that is coming up in the month of June. And this is Brian Biwa, all the way from the Littoral region. He says that I think that the list is fancy enough, but has a lot of humor. On the bright side, seeing Chindo John Bosco is a big news, considering his impact this season. The humor comes in when I see Basogo, when we have Atiba, the Tanzanian, and Fight on the list when we have flamboyant defender in the name of Che Malone. But thumbs up to Mark Buis, he already has a good first impression. I think I will stay with you with Basogo. Brian too is not happy with the fact that Basogo has been called up, despite the fact that you are saying that he's having a good run over there in Turkey, if I'm not making a mistake.
Well, the coach knows what he's looking for. First of all, that's what we must come to understand. Is the coach's decision. Yes, you might talk about the fact that there might be a hidden hand behind who say, call me this player, but at the moment the coach has been very much honest, say that it's going to be my decision to call the players. Like I said, and remember I said it before, that we should not be surprised that many players that Rigo Besson had will be called up. Because you cannot just come today and you change the whole squad. It's not possible. Most of these players will stay.
Talking about changes, this is another reaction from Linda Ngali watching us from Dirty South here in Boya. She says that the guy is just a replica of past mistakes. She quotes, Pierre Kunde Malone, Frank Zambo Angisa, Christian Basogo, and a host of others are all shoes who shouldn't be called up. I think let me finish. They really are living in the past glories. I would have expected him to get to the elite teams, national championship, and constitute a fresh, passionate footballers who still hold the country at heart. Well, I can't blame him. He comes in like a thief and is forced to act like one with no objectivity. My God.
Unfortunately, Maguis has a lot of quality in
football in Cameroon will make sense when politics is disassociated from the national pride. And this is Linda Ngali's contribution watching us from
just to tell you that in football there's politics.
Anything in this life, even in the church, the house of God, there is politics.
Politics that you can see in life inside church. Some churches, please, how they to start saying that you are saying about
it is a reality.
So I just wanted to use the word some churches. So I just wanted to put it out there. But in football, there's politics. The issue is politics should not overshadow football. That's the only thing. FIFA plays politics, CAF plays politics, FICAVO plays politics. So there's politics in their football.
So definitely, I will take on this other contribution. Yeah. This is from Joseph Pierre, watching us from Checkpoint, and he says, good evening to you in the studio. Well, about the list, I am not comfortable with the attack line. I think Abubakar would have been rested due to his lack of games recently with his club. And a player like Kache Rene, who is more daring, giving a try up front. He goes and said the midfield is good with the return of Kunde Malone. So in summary, it is a good list, just the attack line to me, which doesn't have the firepower as I would have expected. What do you think about APS
I just wanted to finish that point of the fact that the coach cannot come and remove everybody and bring a 100% new squad. Like I said earlier, it's not possible. Even the minister himself will be very shocked to see that 33 players or so called up, all are new players. It's not good.
No. You are supposed to do a melange of the experience and
how much
the non-experienced
quality do you
players.
bring from the local team, that which I said to me has to be increased. We cannot be having just two. Secondly, we have to look at the possibility of the fact that Mark Buis is just coming into the squad. He doesn't know the players, and so he has to work with some of the old guards to show him around, to make sure that the players are harmonized in the team.
And this is Andy Sunge, who says that at the time you can't boast of flying boat. Use the available wooden boat and sail off to your journey. In quote. And he says it's important to have the Ngandos, the Chupos, and the Five Collins, excuse me, Combining with the younger ones plus the already established regulars at now can help us start from there to construct a team that can outrightly improve team chemistry and as a direct impact re-energize the various compartments. From these players, it's important to identify the leaders who shall be taking initiatives on the pitch. Identifying those qualitative players within which the team can revolve around. In all, I say every endeavor of this magnitude is a mustard seed. If you harness it well, rather, it will grow to maturity and give the necessary and appropriate result. And result is what we are. It's the bottom line of all this debate here. Now, over to you,
first of all, I want to bring a lot of caution because, like I said, when Mark Boyce was appointed, we should not start putting a lot of pressure on the coach because we just want result. Sometimes we should look at, yes, results is good, but we should know that what is achieved at the end. I feel like we have to get past the stage of having a coach 2 years after we bring a new person, 2 years after we bring a new person, 2 years after we bring a new person, 1 year or so after we bring. The chemistry is not there. The trajectory of the players move from one stage is not there. Even the coach said it himself. There must be that clear passage from the passage of the players entering the national team. So I feel like we need to really have an opportunity to give Magbis a chance to work.
Just like we did with Song.
Let's put in philosophy down together. Let's bring our optimism down a bit because at the moment there's a lot of pressure. And the funny thing is, if Magbis is busy in the first game, you will start hearing all those people
people.
We told you that. Come on.
But you wouldn't blame Cameroonians to expect a lot.
No, they are expecting a lot.
That's something that you wouldn't blame them. Yeah. We talk about his Mark Boyce's predecessor. I think this is somebody that they were expecting equally a lot from him, which at one time he actually giving the results, and another time he disappointed a lot. So, like we all know, human beings are dynamic. You shouldn't expect A should say that no. Whatever he does, he's bound to do mistakes, and you don't expect B to say that there are no rooms for mistakes. So I think that, like you earlier said, we should just watch and see and get the desirable results that Mark Boyce is definitely going to bring to us. I take on this other contribution all the way from Limbe, and it is from Vera Mishi, who says good evening to you in the studio. A great topic of discussion, and she says, I love the fact that Michael Ngando, Fai, Kunde, Tupu, and the others who were silenced by Mark Boyce's predecessor are all back. There are few players who put their lives in the line every single match. And Kunde Malone was very vital in our last second World Cup qualifier against Algeria. But how did we appreciate them? By silencing them. I'm truly happy they are back. Even though Clinton's absence is sad, this guy has passed a dark moment, got himself back in track, and came to the national team for redemption. India was hungry to deliver and make Cameroon happy, and that was only possible if he was given playing time during the African Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast, which would have been an opportunity for him to improve himself. Phil Collins has been given the opportunity once again. I personally know how eager all the players shortlisted by Mark Boyce want to defend the national colors. So let's see what they have for us in the World Cup qualifier against Cape Verde and the other opponents. Thank you very much, Vera Mishi, all the way from Limbe. Your contribution indeed, it's very, very insightful, especially when you have to bring us back some beautiful memories in terms of our World Cup qualifier last year against Algeria. And mind you that that beautiful assist which came in from Kunde Malone right up from the midfield and meeting Tokole Kambi at the attack line was mind-blowing, and I think it's one of the moments that many Cameroonians will never forget in the history of Cameroon football. Over to you, Boris Sono. In general, I know many persons have given in what they think, but what or who are the players that you intend to see in terms of the last selected players that is going to be released in the moments in the days ahead by Mark Boyce?
Well, I hope that.
Let me start with those you don't even want to see.
No. I always want to see the players.
No, those you don't want to see.
Those who don't
because
see
we cannot carry on the 31.
That's what I say. Those who don't see in the qualifiers, not those who don't.
Yes,
see.
yeah, in the qualifier.
First of all, I will hope that the two local players can be well harnessed. I remember that Mark is going to see the players and judge who can be in his final list. So I'm hoping that the two players, Jules Amanko and Chindo John Bosco, will perform well when they get together, prove their word, because we want to see them prove their word. It's not like you say that it is a must that the local players should be called, and then when they go there, they mess up, and we keep saying that the players should. No.
I have a question in terms of Jules Amanko, Boris. Yes, he's the highest goal scorer in terms of the MTN Elite One this season with 22 goals. And I think we've seen him deliver these goals in a couple of games. And he scored today. No, yes, for Lesasco to be able to cross through the rounds of 16 in terms of the Cup of Cameroon. But now, quality. Does he have quality?
Yes, definitely. Jules Amanko brings us something else as opposed to Vincent Boubacar. Every player is different. It's not you cannot have Messi and Ronaldo the same. They are both different.
Because I pose this question because on some other platforms, you are many of the opinion that if they were Mark Boyce in the position of Jules Amanko, they will take another player.
Which player can they take apart from Jules Amanko?
Yeah, we know. That's what I'm saying. That let's not base.
No.
He's the highest goal scorer.
Yes, we have to. Definitely. Why? Because it's important. He didn't score those goals for penalty spot. Like the 90% of his goals were not from the penalty.
You're correct.
He had the ball and he put it in the back of the net. That's what we want to see. We remember Vincent Boubacar is going past his age. He's about 30. He's in his early 30s. Eric Maxime Choupo-Moting is too. He's in his early 30s. Toko Ekambi is not going to be called again. He says he's retired. I don't know if he will come out of retirement. Brian Bremo scored his 50th goal for Brentford in his whole career over the weekend. Can he give us the number of goals that we want? Unfortunately, sorry to say no. But he can give us opportunities in the form of assists. He's noted for assists. And that's what we know him for. Give assists, he can get the goals, but I don't feel like just Brian Bremo is out and out number 9. That's not what he is. Who again? When we get Malo, how many goals has he scored for us in Cameroon? For now, so if you look at we have Faris Mumbanga was recently brought into the team. How many goals has he scored for the national team? At the moment, no.
No, but look at general.
I'm basing my statistics on what we have here, and looking at the possibility of who again can we bring? Who again? Boris Fomo, yes. How many goals did he score? 16. How many goals did Jules Amanko score? More than 22 goals. Come on, what are we saying? So I'm not saying that Jules Amanko is bad. He's not all bad.
No,
he has his lapses, but he has his other good attributes equally in putting the ball in the back of the net. So Nita, do you go for somebody who plays well and doesn't score, or do you go for somebody who puts the ball in the back of the net?
Definitely, the person who makes the net shake.
Jules Amanko brings something else to the national team. I'm not saying that he's not all good, but he has his bad aspect. But all we want is to get the goals. We want to see a different formation only relying on Vincent Boubacar. All the time we rely on Vincent Boubacar. No, we should also be relying on other individuals who can bring us the goal in the national team. So I believe, to me, outrightly, Jules Amanko should be there because it brings additional thing to the strikers as far as the department is concerned.
Thank you very much.
I want to see Jules Chindo John Bosco equally. Okay. I feel like it's another individual that brings people to the play. And remember, he backed with goals.
13 goals this season.
Yeah, which is something which is important equally. You said the person I don't want to see. You know the person. So I don't know if I should say the
viewers don't
again.
know the person.
I feel like we are calling individuals who are not playing. One, the goalkeeping department. I have a problem with the goalkeeping department, and I'll keep saying it. To me, I would have changed that person. That's
Simon.
Momi. No, Simon Gapan. You remember there are two Simons?
Yeah.
Maybe say Simon Musola.
That's true.
I don't know. Maybe your mind is saying Simon Musola.
No,
but I'm talking
it's not
about
Musola.
Gapan. I'll just leave it
It's
at
a
that.
sentence. We
Yeah,
call
so,
him the man with a name
yeah,
that looks
but
like a sentence.
I keep saying he's a young player, no doubt.
But we haven't seen his
but
work.
we've not seen
Yeah.
Simon in the national team. So if I'm Mark Brace, I'll go with two goalkeepers. Simon Omosola. It's just that we cannot call another person again. We've got call Simon. I would have changed to Asio Karido. We've called already. So we just have to streamline this list to about 26 or 29 or so. So I'll remove Simon. I'll remove Christian Basogok.
Okay.
Ivan Ney, I've not seen him very well. He played well, in the AFCON,
yeah.
but in the past, after the AFCON, I've not even seen Ivan Ney again. So I might remove Ivan Ney. Another person that I might bring out, like I said, Eric Maxine Choupo-Moting. I've not seen him well this year. So those are the 4 players that I might remove from this list.
Okay, thank you very much, Boris Sono. To you, what's your own judgment? Who are the players that you think shouldn't be caught up in terms of the last list of players that will be released by Mark Brees in the days ahead as the team continues to prepare in terms of the double confrontation for the World Cup qualifier that is coming up in June? And thank you very much equally to all those who contributed right up from Limbe, Yerin, Boya, Tiko. Want to say thank you very much, and equally for those who called and we weren't able to pick it. We say thank you very much for equally attempting to contribute on today's program. And yes, we are already drawing closer to the end of this program. Brother Sono, thank you very much for equally answering a call always.
The pleasure is all mine.
I think, and equally, may you have the best of the rest of the week.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. And equally, behind the cameras, it's been a big, powerful lady at Tamfo Clothing. Thank you very much for manipulating the 10,000 button to make sure that everything goes on smoothly. And equally to our editor-in-chief, Alice Lekia Ikome, we equally say thank you very much for generous supervision. And yes, it's with this particular Mark Brees pre-selected list of players that I got to draw the curtains of today's High Sports on High Television. It's Sonita Nguni. I'm signing out at the moment. Have a lovely evening.